little bit of a report card here as it relates to the Chargers. Free agency is pretty much completed. I'd say as of midweek, we've had about 250 at least free agents change teams in about a 7-day span, which is absolutely amazing. It took them a while to determine whom they wanted, and they were not going to overpay for anybody. But I think what they offered to these players was, you get the chance to play with Justin Herbert, who's a really good quarterback. You had a chance to play in a very good division. By the way, get a chance to play under Jim Harbaugh. Look at his resume. I like the signing of Pittsburgh Steelers running back Najee Harris. Now, granted, Pittsburgh ran a Neanderthal offense, but it revolved around him. It's not Najee Harris's problem. The Steelers have had quarterback issues for years and years and trying to rebuild their offensive line. 4-time 1,000-yard rusher in 4 years. He's a pretty good player. He's a heavy-duty runner. He's a tackle-to-tackle runner who sheds blockers, tackles, and gets yards after contact. Good acquisition. Better than the guy that got rid of Gus Edwards. Taking a bit of a gamble on Mehki Becton. This is a mountain of a man, 6'7", 370 pounds. He was a high number 1 draft pick out of Louisville, failed with the Jets as a tackle, had knee injuries. They couldn't keep him healthy, couldn't lose weight. Philadelphia signed him on a low-price contract. They put him inside at guard where all he had to play was here. They didn't pull him and do anything. Play here. And he cast a large blocking shadow on everybody. They got him on a 1-year contract at $10 million per season. So Becton comes in to be the right guard. I like the acquisition. It's better than what they've had there in the past. They brought Mike Williams back. He was a big play guy down the field. A lot of mismatch yards after catch. A lot of injuries the last 2 years. His productivity has really dropped off the board, but they're bringing him back on a very affordable contract. They brought in nickelback Donte Jackson. He came from Pittsburgh, had been in Carolina before, part-time starter. Bit of a surprise, they signed Andre James, center, starting center, Raiders. It was a deficient part of the Raiders team. Andre Jackson's going to get the chance to compete for the starting job. The names on the bottom of the screen are a collection of the guys that are gone. They took some hits. They've not re-signed J.K. Dobbins. I'm a little bit surprised because Dobbins, running behind a not very good offensive line, still had some big games and was an explosive guy after contact. Have not brought him back. Joey Bosa is gone to Buffalo. Poona Ford, the starting defensive tackle, is gone, went to the Rams. Morgan Fox, the other starting defensive tackle, was a workmanlike guy, a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He's gone to Atlanta. Obviously, Christian Fulton is gone. Gus Edwards is gone. Fulton's gone to Kansas City. Asante Samuel is not being brought back. He was visiting Green Bay and Chicago this week. But in the bigger picture, they got themselves some good players, and now they're going to go into the draft at 22, and maybe they'll draft a speed wide receiver, or maybe they'll draft one of the group of tight ends that will be available. It's going to be a very interesting draft. We'll talk more about that once we get to the month of April. So it's a different team. It's a more physical team. I kind of like that. If you're asking me, I'd rather have Najee Harris over Gus Edwards. If you're asking me, I'd like to have J.K. Dobbins with Najee Harris, but that has not happened yet. If you ask me, I don't think they've really found a solution to get people to help Ladd McConkey. But so far, so good in the collection they've got, and they still got cap space left. And maybe there's a trade coming along the way. John?
Well, I don't think we should be, getting ready to take that Super Bowl trophy after those signings. I mean, every one of those guys, you can make a case for them, but, is it going to really move the needle? The only thing that sounds good in the whole description you laid out is an Eagles offensive lineman, yep. And I'm like, okay, we definitely need that, get some bulk up front. But I want to see some bigger hits, some home runs in the draft.
They need home run players. That's what they need. They still need to solve. They need a terrorist running streak patterns down the sidelines at wide receiver. Don't have it yet.
Terrorist.
But, somebody scares the living hell out of corners and safeties. That's what I'm making reference to.
I know what you mean.
Okay, you're a Charger fan. Feel free. Jump on board. I wish they would bring back J.K. Dobbins because I tend to think Dobbins with a better offensive front is going to make more things happen. And Dobbins with Najee Harris, I think, pretty good acquisition. Next football topic.